For part 3 of our level clicking tutorial series, we'll be making use of data store service in our game to save our players' data. Alright, to get started here, we're gonna go to server script service and we're gonna add in a script. I'm just gonna rename this script to server right there and get rid of the hello world. I'm just gonna add a comment at the right top saying this is the service section. And first service we're going to add in is the replicated storage, which is going to be local rr equals game get service replicated storage. And I'm also going to add in the players service by doing local players equals game get service players. And just a few lines below, we're going to do the player added connect function. So this is going to run whenever the player joins. Oops, if I can just get this right, just like that. Right, next thing I'm going to do here is work on our leader stats. So just right above our player added, I'm going to make another local function called setup leader stats, just like that. And I'm going to put in the argument or parameter here as the player. So in here, we're going to do local leader stats equals instance.new folder leader stats dot name equals leader stats dot parent equals player, and right below is where we're going to create what we did for the local script, our mock data level exp and required exp. So here we'll do I'm just going to copy this just to make it easier, paste this and say this is going to be the level. And also we want to make sure the instance.new is the integer value. And just gonna change the leader names to level. So level.name is gonna be level, and level.parent is gonna get parented to the leader stats here. And we also want to add a value by doing level.value equals 1. We want to start out at level 1 and just create the same thing for the exp and the required level. I mean the required exp. Just that required exp. Just like that. And 1 leader stats. For the required exp, I'm gonna parent it to the player instead of the leader stats, so we don't want it to show. But once you have that, and the player that player added, we do want to call the function by doing setup leader stats and putting in the player as the parameter here. And if we go ahead and click play, in our leader stats here, we see our level and our exp. And if you go to the explorer here, and under our player, we see, ooh, why does it say level? Let me fix that real quick. That should say required exp, just like that. All right, and inside our player, we have a folder called leader stats. It has our exp at 0 and our level at 1 and our required exp at 1, just like that. Now that we have our real data created, we can get rid of the mock data in the workspace by deleting it. And in our local script, we can just reference it by saying here under variable, we can say player wait for child leader stats dot what is it called level, and we can just do the same thing for exp, just like this, exp, and also are required by saying player wait for child required exp. Now that we have updated our level exp and required exp, if we were to go test this out and play it and click on the clicker, as you can see, it still works because we are now using the one that we made through the script up here, just like this. All right, now on the server side, we do want to just fire that every time we click on the button to the server. So in the Explorer under replicated storage, we're going to make a remote event. And this remote event, I'm just going to rename to exp. And in our clicker, I am going to get rid of this, and we're just going to do required, RR, which is replicated storage dot exp fire server. And that's all we'll be doing for the local script. And we can move on to the server side where we'll be handling the remote event. We're going to start by doing replicated storage, which is rr.exp.onServerEvent connect function. and we're gonna get the player that it gives us to whoever fires a remote, and we're gonna just get a few variable here by getting the level equals player dot leader stats dot level, and then I'm just gonna copy this two more times for the exp and then required exp by doing exp required exp and then required exp. And then right below, it's just how we did it for the local script by doing exp that value plus equals 1, and we're going to do a task that weight 0.1, just the same way we did in the local script. And then if exp that value is greater than or equals to required exp that value, then it's going to do player, it's going to do level dot value plus equals 1, exp dot value equals 0, required exp dot value plus equals 1. And if I were to go ahead and click play and test this out, as you can see, it still works. We are still getting the level and the exp increase each time we level up. And if you look at our exp, it goes up, our level, it goes up each time as well, and our required exp, it goes up as well. There we go. Now we can finally start working on adding in the data store service so that our data saves for our player. At the very top, I'm gonna add another variable here called local data store service equals game get service data store service. This is Roblox data store where we can save stuff here. And just a little bit down below, I'm gonna make another section called variable. This is where we're gonna make our variable local data. I'm gonna call this data name equals clicker data underscore 1, and we're gonna do local data store equals data store service get data name, just like that. Next thing we're gonna add in here is our template. Call this template for our data. I'm gonna say local data template equals this table here, where level is going to be 1, exp is going to be 0, and our required exp is going to be 0 as well. 1 as well. Now that we have our data template, we can go down to our player added and start working on our player data, like grabbing our player data when they join and setting it or retrieving it. So here we'll do local success and then data equals pcall. The pcall is just like a backup setting or something. I don't quite know it, but it's just like a yield basically, so that it doesn't break your whole code if this doesn't work. But here we can do local get data equals data store get async with our data name dot player dot user ID. That is what we're gonna use for our player data. And if it does not get data, if our player data doesn't exist or this is the first time joining, it's going to create a new one here, which is get data equals nil. Here we're gonna do get data equals data template, and here we can do data store set async data name dot player dot user ID. And if I were to do this and say return get data, at the very bottom we can do print success and then data. It's gonna print out our player name and our player data. Well, actually, it won't print out our player name, but it'll just give us a table of our data. Missing 2 arguments or nil. Oops. Let me double check. Oh, okay. So here at the line 52 for set async, we need to also do we need to set it to our get data. Now, if we click play, as you can see, we have a table that prints out our exp, our level, and our required exp, which is the default. And it still doesn't save if we do try anything. And then we click play again. It's still going to remain the same. All right, now that we have set our data for the player, I do want to make another table here where it'll grab all the player's data. It's like a data section, I guess, here, or I guess session data. just like that. And down here, I'm just gonna do session data of the player, that user ID equals the uh, data, just like that. And there we go. And now we can work on the player removing. So when the player leaves, we want to save their data. So when they come back, we can load their data. So here I can do players, that player removing, player removing, connect function, player. Well, that very similar to player join, just a little bit different. And I can do a pcall function here. Pcall function, say function, and say data store, set async, data name, player, user ID, and then we're going to set it to the all data, session data of our player, user ID. So there we go. And this is where we can get our save whenever the player leaves, and then we join, it'll display our previous data. So if I go over to go and click play and level up a few times and then stop it and play it again. Okay, it's still showing level 1. We do need to update it, I guess. Actually, I don't think it's saving. Let me double check. I did forget to do one more thing here, which is down here after we do our level up system and all of that, when it is called to the server, we do want to do here is session data of our player, that user ID dot level equals to our level. And then we're going to do the same thing for our EXP and require EXP. So I'm going to do EXP to our EXP dot value. I want to do level dot value, and then here it is going to be required EXP dot value. Let me replace this. After we've have updated our session data, there is one more thing for on our setup leader stats here. We do want to pass in the data on here, and then in our setup leader stat function, add in the data, and on here we want to do data dot level, data dot exp, and data dot required exp, just like that, so it updates our leader stats properly. And one more thing on our local script, we do want to update this. So what we're gonna need to do here is down here, we're gonna do let's see, frame dot exp dot num dot text equals exp dot value. Basically just the same thing as this here, like that. And then same thing for level. We're gonna do level, actually frame that level, all of this dot level dot value, just like that. And now we've clicked play, it should load our latest data, and it should save as well. There we go. Oh, I also maybe need to update the bar when we first started. But yeah, as you can see, we started off at level 8, and it did save our EXP progress. Let me go to the local service real quick and just put in a down here update bar and click play again. And boom, there we go, level 9. The bar updated, or EXP updated, and whenever I level up, it saves, and whenever we rejoin, it also displays our latest data. Just like that. There we go. Well, folks, that is going to be all for the level clicking tutorial series here. We have our working client and server connection, remote event, and also being able to save our data. But if you have any other question or any suggestion I should add to this game, just let me know in the comments down below.